Because like I'm thinking of some just acquaintances of mine who every Friday and Saturday night they're finding a show to go to. They're going out to some club, and
dude, a lot of people are
they're
rolling
being
too.
like degenerate as.
Yeah,
It's like I definitely like, I support that in moderation. It's like, go let loose, go have fun. But man, if you're like just going really ham on the drugs every weekend, then that's becoming a habit. This is modern day hippie. We are your homies who've done nearly every drug under the sun. Over 600 psychedelic trips and nearly every kind of bender you can possibly imagine have armed us with a universe of knowledge. I'm Yuki, and with my co-host Reggie, we talk about how we do drugs in a responsible, safe, and fun way to improve our lives. Before we dive in, and so we don't get sued, a quick legal disclaimer.
This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. Our goal is to educate and inform others about the realities of substance use in an engaging and entertaining format. We share these experiences so you can learn from them without trying them yourself. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to attempt to recreate anything found in this episode or in any of our other content. We are not confessing to any acts stated in this podcast. The content in this episode should not be treated as factual or real in any way.
With that, we welcome you through our portal and hope you enjoy the show.
what's up, hippies? Hope you're having a vibey day today. Yuki, I know you want to talk about something that was on your mind lately. You want to bring it up?
Yeah, man. I've been thinking a good bit lately about just like raving and the act of like going to concerts and going to music. And on one hand, doing that like for the music itself and the artists and the energy there. And on the other hand, like doing it for the drugs. Because I have been kind of getting deeper into just like Reddit and the online forums around raving and festivals, and learning that for some people it is like genuinely about the music, and for others, whether they want to admit it or not, it is in part because of the drugs. It's a place like go and do drugs, and that's something that's been on my mind a little bit, and I wanted to just kind of brain dump a little bit and get your thoughts on. But before we get into that, I want to share something like random, small, but really exciting that I got to work on and see through recently. So as of like 3 or 4 months ago, I was at a festival. Whenever I go to the festival, I always bring like a fanny pack. Like that's where I put all my stuff, like my phone, my keys, my drugs, etc. And it's just like, while I was on drugs, I had this like idea and this vision of like the perfect fanny pack for raving. And I'm like, oh man, it's going to have all these features. Like it's going to have these like loops for holding your fan. It's going to have a lot of small pockets for organizing your drugs. And then the one I was most excited about was I wanted a few basically like secret pockets on the inside of like the main like fanny pack compartment, where each of these pockets, the outside of the pocket is made with a different material that feels different. And so that way, without having to look in your fanny pack, you can just feel which pocket you're reaching into.
Oh, fuck.
Based on
Dude,
whether
that's
it's
genius.
like whether it's like a little bit of fur, whether it's corduroy, whether it's like a button or some whatever.
Velcro or some shit.
Exactly. Just for the tactile aspect, so you can feel it and know what pocket you're reaching into without having to like actually look down and be like, okay, like where am I reaching? And I actually through a good friend found like a fashion designer basically who like makes clothing and apparel and whatnot. And I worked with her to make this dream fanny pack to bring this dream to life. And
wow, way, you actually made it?
Yeah, dude. I literally got it in the mail like a week ago. Shit. I trialed it like at its first rave this past weekend. And dude, it was really fucking cool. Like it's pretty, like it doesn't look anything like crazy out of the ordinary. It's mostly black.
That's a good thing though.
Like exactly. It has some cool accent colors, and like the main compartment's pretty big because like I've realized that with my other fanny packs, they're just like not big enough for like my phone, my keys, like mushroom chocolates, whatever, chapstick. Like there's a bunch of random shit that I like to put in there. And it was cool, dude. We got a lot of compliments. I had some friends who were like, ooh, like I'd like one of those. I'm like, all right, let me put you in touch with the designer, which is also kind of a sick thing to say. But
oh yeah, for real.
Yeah,
damn,
right.
You know
right.
what they say about fanny packs, bro?
What do they say?
They're for guns or drugs, like which is kind of true. I feel like everyone I know who has a fanny pack literally either uses it to hold their Glock or some kind of gun, or to hold their drugs. Like Name one person who uses a fanny pack not for drugs. Like,
I mean, I am intimately familiar with using a fanny pack for drugs, but I didn't know guns was the other thing. Like, you know, I would just picture like a holster kind of thing.
y'all keep it more low key than that.
Fair. Yeah, I can respect that.
But dude, that's honestly, that's fucking perfect. Did this stem from that one time where you gave your girlfriend the wrong dose drug? I think you said you gave her ketamine instead of 2C or something. Damn. I think
Yeah,
we talked about that on the pod, right?
yeah. We did talk about it, and I did feel very bad for that. And since then, I've definitely been more careful with it. Like even when I'm like I have this like system, I have this process when I'm getting ready for a rave. I have like pretty much the same outfit that I wear every time. Like people kind of like recognize me in my city for the outfit, and then I pack like whatever fanny pack I'm bringing to that rave, and like depending on the fanny pack, you know, I'll organize it differently. Like certain pockets I'll use for like one type of drug versus another, and another pocket I'll use like my earplugs, like all these other things. Like honestly, I'm carrying a lot of stuff in there, you know, like sunglasses, the little like the Vicks like smelly thing, which is nice when you're on drugs.
Nice.
There's a lot of stuff to organize, and even the fanny pack that I have that has the most pockets, which is one of the Lulu fanny packs, which I actually like. It's definitely my favorite fanny pack that like I've purchased. Still not quite big enough, not quite enough pockets. I'm like, I just want a little bit more of both space and pockets. And so I was like, fuck it, let me design it. And it was a dope process to get it made,
sick,
to like work with the designer on like different materials. And it's awesome to like have it in my possession now. And now as she's working with other people to make some more fanny packs, I'm going to like see if people come up with any other features. And as I like put more like mileage on mine, I might get her to iterate on a V2 and a V3. And hell, if I come up with something cool, like my start selling Rave fanny packs, you know, like
That would be
I feel
sick.
like that'd be pretty
Some
dope.
modern day hippie merch. That'd be
Yeah.
great merch, honestly. That's like very functional merch, which I'm very about functional stuff. Like,
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and I'm like, dude, this would be like the ultimate fanny pack, or like the final fanny pack you ever need for raving. Like it's got
oh my god,
everything.
it sounds like the whole thing was a setup to plug merch, but we don't even have merch right now. So.
No. It's even if we do, it's gonna be a while, guys. But if anyone's interested, feel free to email us or message us on our socials, and maybe we can hook you up with the designer as well, because she's awesome, and I'm very happy to send her a little bit more business. And dude, she like charged me like super reasonable price too. Like it was like materials, and I'm like, dude, like I like want to pay you for your time. You know, she's literally like a student, and
oh wow,
was really wonderful to work with. So I'm like, yeah, like I paid her more than she asked for, because I'm like, you deserve this, and I really want to kind of be part of her journey and support her. And I think especially like as like creatives, it's really hard to ask for money for your work and like for your art.
right?
And so like if I can be a small part of like instilling that in her, it's like, hey, your work and your time has a lot of value, then I think that's like one of the most important things to me.
Hell yeah, dude. One more question before we move on to the today's topic. What drug were you on when you came up with this?
It was probably a mixture of like 2C and mushrooms. Yeah, honestly, dude, my usual rave mixture these days will be like a like recreational moderate dose of mushrooms, then like a bit of ketamine and maybe a tiny bit of 2C. That's just like a combination I've really enjoyed. Like it scratches my brain in the right ways and tends to give me like the experience that I want. So I'm a fan of that. Yeah. Hey hippies, we hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and are having a good time, you need to come over to YouTube and subscribe to the Modern Day Hippie YouTube channel. We publish exclusive video content, and I promise you the experience is richer and more interesting. So if you're getting any value at all, stop what you're doing, open up the YouTube app, and subscribe at Modern Day Hippie. If you're watching this on YouTube and aren't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Go press subscribe. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the show. Getting into the meat of the episode here. So the reason why I've been thinking about this more is because I've actually been on kind of like my own personal journey with music. So initially through like DJing, like essentially like coming back from Burning Man, I had just experienced music in like such a new visceral way. And I had seen a lot more of what goes into actually like putting on an event. Like what does it take to run like a lighting system, a sound system, lasers, like all this behind the scenes stuff that like you never see when you go to a rave or a festival. And I just got super like intrigued and fascinated by the space. And after like feeling so strongly about music, I was like, damn, like I want to be a part of this world somehow, you know, I want to like contribute something to it. And not to the point where like I think I'm gonna make a career out of it, but like definitely something I'm really passionate about, like in my free time. And so since Burning Man, I've been getting like super into DJing, like started playing some like small local gigs, things like that. But something that I started doing literally at the beginning of this year of 2024 was I had this idea to start doing these DJ pop-ups at different spots around my city for like,
Oh, nice.
you know, literally like a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon. And it's dope because between me and a couple of good friends, like we have all the equipment that we need. Like my partner and I have some like badass, basically like professional grade DJ decks. Our friends have really good speakers. Our buddy has this giant like portable battery basically that can power the entire setup for like 8 hours. And so we have all the parts to make this happen. It literally costs us nothing. And so I basically started like organizing and basically producing these like really small local events. And so we'll just like put our setup somewhere in a public place, like in a park or like on a wide path, you know, like we're obviously not like trying to get in people's way, you know, where like my number one rule is like, don't be a nuisance, you know, like I'm just trying to bring vibes. And it's really rooted in this principle that I got from Burning Man of like gifting. It's like, okay, like I'm going to like give this gift to my city, and luckily it's a city where like people are super on board for this stuff. Like it's very youthful. There's a lot of energy, and like I've organized 2 of these events so far, and like so many people come up to us and be like, dude, like this is fucking awesome. Like this is dope. Like, you know, how can I get involved, or how can I follow you guys? And so part of this also is like, in addition to doing these DJ sets, you know, whether it's me, whether it's my partner, whether it's like our friends, we have a lot of DJ friends. I'm like filming the entire sets as well and producing these like full sets on YouTube. So kind of like, think like, I don't know if you're familiar with Circle, but basically Circle does these like boiler room style sets, but instead of like boiler room where it's in like a club packed with people, these Circle sets are like in beautiful, just outdoor vistas.
Like nature. Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Like yeah, they're awesome. There's this really famous one actually with Ben Bomer where he's literally doing a DJ set on a hot air balloon in Cappadocia in Turkey. And it's just like magical, right? And so like that was very inspiring, and I wanted to do something similar.
You a long ways to go before you're on a hot air balloon.
Oh yeah. But it's
that's sick. I understand the vision. Yeah,
and just do something more like local. It's like local DJs. It's grassroots. And generally, like, even though we don't have to like spend any money to make this happen, like it is a lot of effort. Like it's a lot of effort to load up the car, to carry everything to like whatever spot we're setting up at, even running the cameras, like editing our first set. Like it was a ton of work. Anyway, all this to say is like, this is kind of my first foray into the world of like EDM and DJing and whatnot, more as like a creator, a producer, an organizer than just like an attendee, someone in the audience. And so there's a very big difference, because when I'm someone in the audience, you know, I paid money to get a ticket. I'm there to like just have a good time, listen to music, do some drugs, whatever.
Yeah.
Versus when we're like setting up in one of these public places, like I'm kind of the main organizer for this. Like I'm very lucky to have a lot of people like helping me with it. But I feel like people are kind of like looking to me to like organize these things for the most part. And whenever we're setting up in a public place, I'm like, you know, I'm 100% staying sober. Like I'm ready. Like, you know, if a random like city guard or something comes up in the park, just to, you know, have like a civilized, like good conversation with them.
Yeah, you definitely want to be sober when you're going to be talking to like authority and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if you're the one in charge, you should be sober, in my opinion. Like,
100%. Yeah. And so that very much delineated, like, you know, like this is an event, albeit a very small, like local grassroots event that I'm putting on, but still an event that, you know, I'm trying to take pretty seriously. And like through this event, like, you know, at these events, I've definitely confirmed to myself that like, I really like love this music. Like I am like
the music itself as well.
Yeah. 100%. Like we have different types of DJs, people playing different types of music. And like, honestly, like I am so there for all of it. Like it's awesome to see all the different stuff that people bring to the table, but it made me really happy. You know, it's like, I'm just here, like just vibing, drinking my like hop water or whatever, while like other people are DJing and I'm having a good time. And so that was a good affirmation to myself. I'm like, okay, like, even when I go to raves, these events, like I definitely enjoy doing drugs. I enjoy that aspect of it, but like I do strongly believe that like the music is the driving force for me, and that if I wasn't into this kind of music or into raving, like I'm sure I would find other places to like more conveniently do drugs, essentially. Because at this point, like I'm not doing drug casually on weekdays. It's mostly around some event. Even on weekends, if I'm not going to a rave or something, like the only drug I'm ripping casually is mushrooms every once in a while. But it really made me think, because as I've been getting deeper into like all these different like rave and festival subreddits and stuff and learning about these things, it's like, I think some people use raving as an excuse to do drugs. And there have been times where I've like caught myself feeling that way a little bit. It's like, oh, I'm going to the show. Like I'm excited to like trip or do something like that. And I don't think that's like wrong or a bad thing. It's just, there's definitely like a line between doing that in like a comfortable, fun, safe way versus just like being a head ass about it.
Damn, that's so interesting, dude. Because I feel like I'm like trying to think about the way I view like the music versus the drugs, and it's honestly kind of hard for me to say because the first few music festivals that I went to, I was completely sober during them, and I thoroughly enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But then when I started doing more drugs, I think I was excited to do the drugs at the music festivals because it was a new experience for me, or like it would just be some kind of vibe that I just hadn't experienced before that would give me a new perspective on like a festival that I'd already been to sober, for example. But I don't know if I can just like confidently say that I'm looking forward more to the drug than the festival. But honestly, yeah, now that I think about it, I probably was looking forward to the drugs more than like the music. Like, frankly, like I'm just being honest with myself. But I don't know if it's like always a thing, I guess, is what I'm trying to figure out in my own head. Like, is it just because it was unique? Like the last time I did it, the last few times I did it. But then again, I'm like, when's the last time I went to a concert and I didn't do drugs? Like,
oh, fair. Yeah. I mean, one thing that comes to mind kind of like as you're talking is like, I feel like you're definitely not going to as many like shows or raves as I've been going to recently.
Right,
and then
not
like
nearly as many.
And then the amount I go is way less than some of the people I know. And so I think even if there have been instances where like you've felt that way of like, oh, like, am I here for the music or for the drugs? I mean, it can definitely be both, right? It's not like black and white.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, I think in order for it to be like a quote unquote problem in my head is like, it has to happen frequently enough where it is becoming like an issue in your life. Cause like, I'm thinking of some just acquaintances of mine who every Friday and Saturday night, they're finding a show to go to. They're going out to some club, and
dude, a lot of people are
being like degenerate as fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like I definitely like, I support that in moderation. It's like, go let loose, go have fun. But man, if you're like just going really ham on the drugs every weekend, then that's becoming a habit, and I think that's like definitely a strong over the line like example for me.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess when it becomes a habit is when you gotta really be careful about it. I don't think I've gone to enough shows to like have a large enough data sample to understand why I want to go. But it also just depends on the music for me. Cause like I went to a Snoop Dogg concert not too long ago. Yeah. It was like Snoop Dogg and a bunch of other rappers. And I was stone cold sober. And they were actually super strict in that venue for some reason. Like there was a girl who had like a regular vape, like not even a dab pen, and she hit it, and then security came and escorted her out of the venue. And it's like ironic because Snoop Dogg's smoking weed on stage, of course, like, while this was happening.
Of course, it's Snoop Dogg. That like half the reason you go to see him is to just watch him get stoned on stage.
Yeah, and like I really enjoyed that concert for like the music and the company because I was like I never seen Snoop Dogg live. But then I'm thinking about like if I go to like a rave or something, a lot of times I won't even know who the artist is, and I really am just going to rave. And like I think I'm more likely to be looking forward to the overall experience, including the drugs, than I would be to just like go to a rave sober and just kind of listen to the music. Like I don't think I'm as passionate about that kind of music. versus like hip hop. Like I love hip hop.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great point.
You're at the club and the music is thumping, but you've got nothing left in the tank. So what do? Sniff some cacao. Yup, you heard that right. Sniff some cacao. It's the hottest new trend in the club and party scene. One bum-sized sniff of raw chocolatey powder contains the caffeine equivalent to a half cup of coffee, and boom, it hits instantly. And the best part is you can now sniff cacao anytime, anywhere. Right out in the open, in front of the DJ booth or the stage, even at the VIP table with your friends. Now, how does that happen without drawing unwanted attention? Snogo's spring-loaded bump straws make it possible. These classy, triple mirror polished bump straws are the safest, most discreet way to enjoy sniffing cacao. In fact, you've most likely already seen people wearing Snogo's bump straws as pendants around their necks without even knowing it. Discover why sniffing cacao using Snogo bump straws is being called the biggest revolution in partying since the invention of rock and roll. Jump on over to snogostraws.com to learn more. That's SNOGOSTRAWS.com and use discount code MDH15 at checkout for 15% off your entire order.
It's definitely a sliding scale, and I think also within like raving and EDM world, like unless you're really in the weeds, like a lot of the music can be pretty similar. It's like you can be going to see like a no-name DJ and they could be playing like, you know, some hits from like really big house or techno artists or whatever. And so there's definitely a little bit more like overlap there where it's like it's definitely more like the general experience than like, yeah, hey, I'm going to see like Snoop Dogg or like Taylor Swift or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or Taylor Swift. That's the whole thing. Like people aren't going to see Taylor Swift for the drugs. Like that's
dude, what kind of drug would Swifties do if like Swifties had a go-to drug?
Damn, that's a great question.
My gut reaction is Coke, just because I heard that her Eras tour show is like 3.5 hours or something. And she goes through like, I think it's like 50 to 60 songs as her set list. Like it is nonstop, all out. And like, I am not a Swiftie at all. Like I feel very neutrally about her. It's just like not my kind of music, but I like respect the hell out of just how big and successful she is, you know.
Dude,
like she's
crazy,
like literally one of the biggest artists in the world. And like that's incredible. Like I appreciate that many people fuck with her music like that. And actually to the point where like when it was like peak, like Eras tour time in the US last year, because I think now she's doing like international shows. At some point I was like, dude, this is like a cultural moment that is happening.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like every girl I knew that had gone, like had an Eras tour, like t-shirt, and everyone was talking about it. Exactly. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Like I am like not a, like her music just doesn't like resonate with me that much, but like I'd be down to go to one of these shows just to like be part of this like cultural moment, just because it's like there's this one point in time, like there's going to be only ever one Eras tour, and this is going to go down in history. And so I literally looked at getting tickets to a show either in like my city or a neighboring city.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. And bro, like I saw the resale prices. I was like,
they're so fucking expensive.
I don't want to be part of this moment in history enough to pay like,
you're like, I don't want to be that guy.
like, yeah, to pay like $800 for a ticket plus having to travel to another city. Like,
they made a movie about it. I think you could just watch the movie now.
Yeah, no, they did. That's facts. Honestly, that's a great point.
Damn, dude. Honestly, I was thinking about it while you were saying that. I think the correct answer to what drug Swifties would use is alcohol, dude. Like, it's got to be alcohol.
I mean, I mean, like,
I feel like in this conversation, but
nah. Yeah, that's a cop out answer on the MDH.
It is pod. A cop out. Yeah, true. Okay, yeah, I would have to agree with you then, Coke. Sorry, my bad. I was still pondering that, but Taylor Swift, man, crazy phenomenon that we lived through.
Dude, she's still
people
going.
Make so much money off of those tickets, dude. Like, you know, they're just like scalpers and resellers and shit.
No, dude. Also, the crazy thing is in 2023, like both the Taylor Swift tour and the Beyonce tour, like on their own, I think accounted for like at least 1% of the US's annual GDP.
Holy shit.
Between ticket sales, people buying like flights to travel to see them, getting hotels, renting cars, like everything that goes into that, like straight up, like a single digit percentage of the United States GDP for the year. Like that's a portion
I
of
believe
like
it. I mean, that's
trillions of
ridiculous.
dollars or some shit. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
that's ridiculous.
unreal,
Do you,
unreal.
do you think this Super Bowl is going to be the biggest one yet because of the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing?
Dude, 100%. Yeah, yeah. And actually, when this is publishing, the Super Bowl will have already happened. But in advance, definitely going to be the most watched. And dude, even like I barely follow like NFL football, whatever. I'm not a big sports guy, but like just whenever I like look at like a screen in a restaurant or whatever at a place I'm out, I feel like half the time it's like an interview with Travis Kelce. Like
It
Travis
always
Kelce,
is. It's
he's
always Travis Kelce everywhere.
his airtime has literally probably gone up like 10x since he started dating Taylor Swift, which is great for the NFL. Like the NFL loves that. And I know a while
I
ago,
love him right now.
yeah, I know they had announced that Usher was the halftime artist. I still low key wouldn't be surprised if they just like bump Usher and get Taylor Swift to like play the
She's like
show.
already at the game. Like,
Yeah. Well, no, dude,
That's
actually,
funny.
the tough thing about that is literally the day before the Super Bowl, she's playing her show in Tokyo, and then she's flying overnight to Vegas, I think is where the Super Bowl is being played.
oh my god! I mean, that's some superstar shit. Honestly, I feel like that's casual for her. Like, one day we'll get there, bro. Like,
Yeah, man, fingers crossed, though. I don't know. I have friends who've like kind of been parts of tours or got on tours with artists, and bro, it is exhausting. Like, it is just nonstop. Like, I'm honestly so amazed that like I've seen Odessa 10 times, and 8 of those times have been on this most recent tour, The Last Goodbye. And every show, like they look like they're having a good time. Like they look like they're putting their all into it. Like both of the Odessa members, and then like their drum line and their horns and whatever. I'm like, damn, like you guys are straight up just doing this like twice a weekend every week for
Damn.
months at a time.
dude, but you're watching the fun part. You know what I mean? Like the shitty part is like all the travel and the setup and the logistics and the paperwork.
Exactly.
Like you get to watch the part that they went into this for, like the music, which goes back to the original topic.
Dude, fact. Yeah, and actually, last final note, speaking of Odessa, they announced they're doing like the finale for The Last Goodbye tour. So they're doing a final handful of shows this summer before they like totally stop touring, and I assume, and fingers crossed, to go work on some more new music. But my partner and I got tickets to see Odessa at the Gorge in Washington State, which is the most iconic venue, I think, in the world. Like, if you haven't seen this place, like you guys just
what's
like,
so special about
like
it?
Google the Gorge. It's literally like above this valley, like in the mountains deep in Washington State, where like you're sat up on this hill, you're looking at the stage below you, and behind it is just this beautiful valley view that like catches the sunlight. Like,
oh my god,
it's like imagine like a beautiful amphitheater outdoor stage setup, like right next to the Grand Canyon kind of vibe.
Jeez,
like.
Damn.
Yeah.
And while watching Odessa, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. And they said it's going to be like an extended show, and they're going to play like, they're going to add a bunch of new stuff. So it will be like reasonably different. So we're going to go there for a day. And then opening for them on the day we're going, they're going to have Ben Bomer playing, who's like a really just solid, like melodic house DJ producer that I'm a big fan of, who actually does that circle set on the Hot Air Balloon, which I've been listening to nonstop. So
hell yeah,
I'm stoked for that.
Have fun, man. You gotta tell me how that is. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, bro, dude, low-key, honestly, we're gonna have, I think, some interesting episodes like coming out later this year, because I'm going to so many festivals. Like, I've never just like been on the festival circuit like this, bro. Like, it's gonna be dope, but it's gonna be exhausting. And it's like, I have friends who literally are going to like 10 plus festivals this year. I'm talking full on like camping festivals of at least 3 or 4 days.
Holy shit. Oh, those are sick. I've always wanted to go to one of those.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I told you about the one happening pretty soon if you want to come, but you got a lot of stuff going on.
I know, I'm just broke.
So
That's the problem. Don't worry, man. I'm gonna get my money up, and then I'll be able to join y'all.
Dude, yeah.
That'll be good.
Let me know when, and I will facilitate the way, man. I'm excited to do all these festivals. Like, I did Burning Man, which was definitely like the most extreme, but like these in between ones, I'll just bring a tent, like, just be there for 3 or 4 days. Like, I'm excited to just get my like processes on lock, be like, all right, I can just like get ready for a festival, know exactly what I need, not have to stress about it. Yeah, because my friends who go often, they have all the equipment they need. They know like what kind of food they like to eat there, and like, you know, what to like prepare beforehand. 'Cause it is good, like bring some food, and you can bring a lot of shit. So
Hell yeah.
it will be a good time. But I'll keep y'all posted on the festing this coming spring and summer.
Dude, I'm excited for those episodes. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, man, should be a good time. And definitely got some exciting things in the pipeline coming up. But until then, thank you guys so much for listening. That's today's pod.
You've been listening to Modern Day Hippie. As you exit the portal, we have just one small ask of you. If you learned something new today, had a laugh, or resurfaced a drug story of your own, we want to hear about it. Drop us a comment on YouTube and show us some love on your favorite podcasting platforms. Internet algorithms really dog on us because of the topics that we discuss, so your support goes even further here than you might think. We'll catch you next week.